Hello, you've caught me looking at the game over screen in Final Fantasy IX. I died on purpose, of course. You won't catch me losing a fight in this game, absolutely not. You know, I don't fight anything until I'm 20 levels too powerful. Instead, I'm using it to represent the theme of this week's Friday feature.
Game over.
Oh, shut up, you. I died deliberately in Road to Nowhere to capture that bit as well. 4 times deliberately! I did, it was deliberate. Joking aside, sometimes dying or reaching whatever fail state constitutes a game over in games is so much fun that you do actually do it on purpose. Maybe the death is spectacular, maybe it's funny, maybe the game over is punishment for doing something bad but ultimately satisfying. Either way, if you've ever ruined your protagonist's day on purpose just for the lols, this video is for you. Here are 7 game overs that were totally worth it. Number 1. Jumping out of a plane in Grand Theft Auto 5. Don't tell me you've never done this. No parachute skydiving is basically a GTA rite of passage, a thing that happens as soon as you gain access to anything that can fly, which is often right at the start after we've either broken into the airport early, hello San Andreas, or just entered a cheat code for a buzzard helicopter. Yeah, surprise, motorists. No parachute skydiving is happening. Out of my way. So yeah, the rule with this is you need to climb as high as the game will allow. And you can't be over water because then the impact is lessened and you don't even die. So you climb and climb and climb, and when you reach the highest point, out you come. And... to be honest, the moment of death here is always slightly anticlimactic. It's the dizzying sense of vertigo when you first leap out of the helicopter that's worth it. Then there's that brief moment of serene peace. Yeah, sorry, Michael. Where you get to see the majestic world Rockstar has built, laid out below you like a warm, inviting urban blanket. An urban blanket that's rushing towards your face at goodness knows how many miles an hour. Ooh, oh my goodness, that's fast. Worth it. Next up. Ah yes, Resident Evil 4, the best babysitting game ever made, although not quite as scary as doing it in real life. Leon's main objective in Resi 4, in addition to wiping out a terrifying cult of not quite zombie lunatics, is rescuing Ashley Graham, the president's daughter. Now, you'd think, knowing the situation, that Ashley would be a bit more helpful than she is. You know, you're in a dangerous place here. Do you think you could possibly climb down the ladder on your own so we can get on with the important business of, you know, escaping?
Where are you going, Leon?
After a few hours of this, let's just say we might have got a bit careless with our main mission objective. You know, unfortunately, Ashley may have got caught in the crossfire in a hectic fight against the not zombies. We might have been trying to open that barrel of items with our knife and not noticed that Ashley was in the way.
Oh, no.
And, you know, we might have just forgotten to tell Ashley to follow us when this truck came rumbling down the road. Oh, that's a shame. Oh no, says Leon, but really, oh yes, this game over will always be worth it. Entry 3 is a thing everyone who's played Metal Gear Solid 3 has done, guaranteed. An hour or so into the game after you've successfully rescued Sokolov and witnessed the wonderfully over-the-top cinematic where Snake takes down Ocelot and his entire unit with nothing but his bare hands and a tranquilizer gun, Metal Gear Solid 3 offers you the chance to do something very naughty indeed. Ocelot is lying there, sleeping peacefully, perhaps dreaming of a future full of triple-crossing badassery, of stealing Metal Gears and gluing the arms of genetically engineered psychopaths onto his own. And you're there, standing over him, with the ability to wipe out that future in an instant. You ask yourself that age-old question. If you could go back in time and meet a younger version of your arch-nemesis, would you kill them? You think about the ethical dilemma, not to mention the cosmic chaos you'd unleash by essentially puncturing a hole right through space-time, and you decide, yes.
Snake, you can't do that. The future will change. You'll create a time paradox.
Trust Metal Gear to give you the opportunity to kill off a younger version of an established character and then punch down the fourth wall on its way to chastising you about it. That's the voice of Colonel Campbell, who, let's not forget, during the time of MGS3 in 1964 would only be in his 20s, broadcasting through time to let you know you've created a time paradox. A wonderful Easter egg for series fans. They knew we were going to kill him given the chance, and a game over that is totally worth the effort of reloading. Next up, Assassin's Creed 2. Now, the thing with Assassin's Creed, especially the earlier games, is that when you're allowed to walk around a massive, sprawling, densely populated open-world city stuffed full of, let's just say, annoying NPCs, and you're also given a hidden blade which you can use on anyone and at any time, let's just say it's incredibly tempting to, But apparently, Ezio didn't murder innocent civilians, and therefore the game will give you a couple of slaps on the wrist. Don't kill people, bad Ezio, before sending you to the naughty corner/desynchronization screen to think about what you've done. Well, Assassin's Creed 2, what I've done is exercise my video game right to murder irritating NPCs, because that's literally what they're made for. Virtual ragdolls brought to temporary life with loops of AI code, their only purpose to hang about until the player walks through and hands them that quick, shiv in the neck death their deliberately annoying dialogue was so clearly asking for. In other words, Assassin's Creed 2, you can desynchronize me all you like. I will keep doing this because the NPCs deserve it. Next up, we've got Death Stranding, a game that technically doesn't give you a game over when you die. Instead, you are transported to the Seam, a mysterious place filled with the souls of other not really dead Death Stranding players. And being here is literally worth it, not just because it looks cool or because the epic fight against a landscape morphing BT entity beforehand was both terrifying and amazing, but because it's another opportunity for you to connect and build bridges with other players. Look at these souls, floating, lifeless, somehow adding to my game. Death Stranding gives you this amazing and kind of creepy sense of sharing a world with people you never see. Roads spring up thanks to the collective efforts of other players. Bridges and ladders and zip lines built by other couriers dot the landscape. And yet here, in the Seam, you do see them. Even if it's just an echo or an empty shell of another player, it's like they've left something of themselves behind for you to interact with in this place, this void that exists in between the world of the living and the dead.
This is so cool!
Oh my god, you should die all the time!
It's worth dying.
And then, after you've had a poke around all the other floating corpses, you find your own and slip back inside, enjoying a fun thumbs up from the baby that lives inside you before waking up in the real world and barfing tar all over the place. Death Stranding, everyone, where dying is every bit as weird and wonderful as the rest of the game. Our next entry is the original Tomb Raider, a game we died in so many times during our first playthrough 24 years ago. Good lord, that makes me feel old. Either by falling off a high place or on some spikes or being mauled by a T-Rex, that eventually we just kind of got desensitized to the game over screen. You know, hearing Lara cry out as we clumsily sent her to her doom just became part of the background noise of the game. There was one death, however, that we should have seen coming, and let's be honest, we all did see it coming, but was just impossible to resist. In the Palace Midas level, you're tasked with turning lead bars into gold using the famed golden touch of the mythical monarch. We all know the story, right? Power-hungry King Midas wishes for everything he touches to turn to gold, and in his greed neglects to think about things like food and toilet paper and other people. Similarly, here we are in the game, except it's not greed but curiosity driving us forward. The hand of Midas is just lying there. Do you think if we stand on it, Lara might... Oh, it's just so brilliant and horrifying. Of all the ways to go, that startled breath she does as presumably her insides harden into metal, the transformation inexorably creeping up her body until finally her face turns and she clunks to the floor, startled, sparkled, and very, very dead. So hands up who immediately called over a family member and did the same thing all over again just to show them. Okay, our final entry is cheating a little bit because online you don't really get game overs, do you? But this is such a thrilling, wonderful and hilarious death I just had to include it. Also, I apologise to anyone who's ever been unfortunate enough to play Red Dead Redemption 2 with me and allowed me to drive the wagon. So not only do you die, all your friends die and then inevitably hate you. But it's so worth it. What I like to do is this: posse up, get in a wagon, pretend like we're all heading to the next thing we're doing, you know, a mission or griefing another posse by hogtie dragging them all over the place while they're looking for treasure. Oh, fun times. And then, with everyone helplessly on board, I like to drive the wagon over a cliff and watch us all plummet to our doom. That lurching vertigo, that rush, the anticipation, the brutal impact, the annoyance of everyone I'm playing with. Oh, just inject it into my veins. Deliberately murdering yourself and your posse in Red Dead Redemption 2. Let us know your own examples in the comments, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and click that notification bell so you always know when a new Friday feature goes live. Thanks for watching, and see you again next week.